Good evening, everyone. It's storytelling time again. Today's story is Cinderella. I know you may be tired of listening to classic stories, so we're going to talk about different kind of stories from next time. Let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a good man. He had a good wife and a beautiful, kind daughter. They all lived in a nice old house and were very happy. But one day, the man's wife died, and then the man and his daughter were very sad. After 2 years, the man married again. Wait, he said you say he was very sad, right? So after 2 years, he became happy or became normal again. So he think, oh, I should marry the woman. Man. His new wife was a nasty woman with a loud voice. She had 2 daughters. One of them was tall and thin. She was called Prudence. The other daughter was short and fat. She was called Charlotte. Prudence and Charlotte were ugly girls. People called them the ugliest sisters. So it wrote, the new wife is a nasty woman with a loud voice. I thought maybe the man, Cinderella's father, knew it already, but he still married her. Why? Is that because after he married her, he can get more money? No, I don't know. The story didn't write about it. The man was afraid of his new wife. Oh, you're also afraid of her, so why you married her? He said to his daughter, I know that you are a good girl. Be kind to your new mother and your new sisters. Wait a second. So you already know that first she's nasty, second she had loud voice, third you're afraid of her, and then you ask your daughter not to be afraid and even need to be kind to them? Are you serious? Are you sure you married a wife to help the house become normal, to handle everything in the house? Or you choose a woman for Cinderella to how to say, you married a guest and you want Cinderella to serve the guest and the guest's daughter. Sounds weird. Yes, father, she answered. But the 2 ugly sisters hated the man's daughter because she was beautiful and good. You can sleep in that little room at the top of the house, said Prudence, and you must do all the work. Give me your nice clothes. Here, you can wear this old dress. And give me your nice shoes. You don't need shoes. Yes, said Charlotte. Start working now. This house is dirty. You must clean it. If I'm the owner of the house and my dad get married again and bring 2 daughters, 2 step-sisters here, and then they ask me to do the housework, I will sit pissed off. This is my house, not your house. Pissed off. So will Cinderella do that? So every day, the beautiful, kind girl worked hard. She cleaned the house, she washed and cooked, she made the beds, she did everything. So you are the owner. You are the original owner of the house, and you are the only daughter from the first wife from his father. You have the right to refuse their requirements. I think, but only because your dad said be nice to them, so you are nice enough to become the maid of the house. I can't do that. So maybe that's why she's Cinderella. In the evening, she was tired, so she sat down in the kitchen. She always sat close to the fire, and her dress and feet got dirty in the cinders. And so the ugly sisters began to call her Cinderella. Wait, don't you take a bath? I thought it will be easy for you to take a bath because you do all the housework, so you know how to boil the water or how to get some water for yourself to clean. But you didn't clean yourself. You let the ashes and cinders comes all on you, and they call you Cinderella. So, is Cinderella a nasty girl? Let's continue. One day, a letter arrived. Prudence quickly opened it. "Oh, look, mother," she said. "It's from the king. He's having a big party at the palace for his son, the prince." A party, said Charlotte. "Can I come?" asked Cinderella. "You, don't be stupid," said the ugly sisters. You can't come, but we'll need new dresses, and you must make them for us." So Cinderella worked very hard. She made beautiful new dresses for her ugly sisters. And on the day of the party, she worked for them all day. She ran upstairs and downstairs. She never stopped. Wait, so according to the ugly sisters, Cinderella knows how to make a dress. So she didn't make one for herself, and she's still working very hard to help the ugly sisters dress up to the party. And at that day, she worked all day and never stopped. How fool is she? She's even... I think Snow White is even smarter than her. Although... At last, the ugly sisters were ready. They got into their coach, and Cinderella said goodbye to them. "Have a wonderful time," she called. Their coach went up the hill to the palace. Now Cinderella felt very sad. She began to cry. Then suddenly she heard a voice. "Cinderella, why are you crying?" Cinderella looked up and saw a beautiful woman in a white dress. It was a fairy. Wait. So I thought fairy is kind of legendary thing, and you just saw a woman in a white dress, and you thought, oh, it must be a fairy. If this happened in a normal life, when you're sitting, it didn't write where this Cinderella sit. Oh, okay. Anyway, if you're sitting on a road or maybe the MRT station, and someone suddenly call your name and in a special costume, and you never know her. Oh, thought maybe she's a stalker or she is crazy something. I won't think she is a fairy. But Cinderella immediately thought she is a fairy. Okay, it's a fairy tale. We can be serious about it. I'm crying because I can't go to the party, said Cinderella. But Cinderella, you can go to the party, said the fairy. I will help you with my magic wand. Listen to me. Go into the garden and bring me a pumpkin. A pumpkin? That's strange, thought Cinderella. But she ran into the garden and found a big fat pumpkin and put it on the ground by the fairy's feet. Good, said the fairy. Now go and get the mousetrap. The mousetrap? That's strange, thought Cinderella. Okay, from now on, you'll hear lots of same grammar because not my fault. It's just the storybook write like this. So you're going to hear lots of same grammar. Just the storybook write it. It's not my problem. Okay. But she went and found the mousetrap. There were 6 white mice in it. She put it on the ground by the fairy's feet. One more thing, said the fairy. I need 6 lizards. 6 lizards? Said Cinderella. All right, I'll find them. So she ran into the garden and found 6 little lizards. You can go to the party, Cinderella, said the fairy. Watch. The fairy touched the pumpkin with her magic wand, and suddenly it wasn't a pumpkin. It was a beautiful gold coach, a princess coach. Then she touched the 6 white mice with her magic wand. Okay, the same. It's going to be the same. And suddenly they weren't white mice. They were 6 beautiful white horses. No, the last one, the same grammar. Then the fairy touched the 6 little lizards with her magic wand, and suddenly they weren't lizards. They were 6 footmen in coats of gold and green and silver. Oh, thank you, said Cinderella. Then she looked at her dirty old dress. But I can't go to the party in this, she said sadly. So the fairy touched Cinderella's dress with her magic wand, and suddenly it wasn't a dirty old dress. It was a beautiful long dress with little pink flowers on it. Then the fairy gave Cinderella 2 little glass shoes for her feet. Now, are you happy? Yes, oh yes, thank you, said Cinderella. Thank you. Okay, here's the problem again. The fairy gave Cinderella 2 little glass shoes for her feet, so it's completely the same of her feet size, right? How does that fairy know? I think a fairy is a stalker of Cinderella. I think it's the perfect explanation of how the fairy knows lots of things. Like she knows, oh, why are you so sad? Oh, I can help you to the party. Hmm. But listen, Cinderella, said the fairy. Before you go, I must tell you something very important. You must leave the party before the clock strikes 12, because at 12 o'clock at midnight, the magic will stop. Then your coach and your horses and your footmen will go. You will only have a pumpkin, 6 mice, and 6 lizards again. And this beautiful dress will go too. You will have your dirty old dress again. Do you understand? Yes, said Cinderella. I understand. I won't forget. Thank you for everything. Then Cinderella got into the coach and went to the palace. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, the prince's footmen were surprised. Oh, the footmen of the prince. Look, look at her coach, they said. Look at her dress. Who is she? And when she walked into the big room, everyone stopped dancing. Okay, if I think it's quite like not only because of Cinderella is beautiful. I think the other main point is the party is already begin have already begun. So and she arrived maybe 1 hours later. So it will be very odd that someone just entered into a party. So I think everyone stopped to look at her is very normal thing. Who's she? Said Charlotte, the ugly sister. Is she a princess? Yes, said Prudence. A very important princess, I think. Okay, I think the most of the character from the story is they have problem of how do you say? They have problem of seeing other people's face, like even especially for the main character, like they can recognize that this is Cinderella, the stepsister in their house, just because she changed the clothes and looks like a princess. Okay, I thought most of the character from fairy tale doesn't have the ability to recognize other people's faces. When the prince saw Cinderella, he thought, "She is the most beautiful girl in the world." He went to her and said, "Will you dance with me?" "Yes," said Cinderella, "I will." Cinderella had a wonderful time at the party. She danced with the prince all evening and was not tired. But she didn't look at the clock. At last, she remembered. It was 1 minute to 12. "Oh," she said, "it's nearly 12 o'clock. It's nearly midnight. I must go." And she ran out of the room. "What? Why? Wait!" called the prince. "Come back! I don't even know your name." "So you spent all night dancing together and you haven't asked the name of Cinderella? So what are you? So you just dancing so seriously for whole evening, or busy? You're just busy about looking at Cinderella's face and think of, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so blah 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 blah, and you didn't do the most important thing. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? How old are you? You didn't ask these things? I think the prince is not a smart guy after he saw. Maybe it's after he saw Cinderella. He's like, oh, so pretty woman, so pretty girl. I want to marry her. Blah blah blah. It was midnight. The clock began to strike 12 o'clock. Cinderella ran out of the palace and down the stairs. One of her little glass shoes fell off, but she could not stop, so she left it there on the stairs. The magic stopped. The fairy was right. Cinderella looked at her dress. Where was her beautiful long dress? Now she had her dirty old dress again, and she had no beautiful coach. There was only a pumpkin, and no horses, and no footmen, only 6 white mice and 6 little lizards, running away into the garden. Cinderella took off her other glass shoes and put it in her pocket. Then she ran home. I think she's the best part of doing housework is she gained her strength to run from palace to home she danced with the prince all evening and didn't feel tired, and she ran after that she ran back to house from the palace. I thought maybe Cinderella is a marathon. She's good at marathon. The prince ran out of the palace. Where is she? He said. Where is the beautiful princess? Did you see her? No, answered the footman. We only saw a girl in a dirty old dress with no shoes. She was a beautiful girl, but she wasn't a princess. Wait, so you didn't recognize people from their faces. You recognize people from their clothing and shoes? Okay. All the characters are like that, okay? Then the prince found Cinderella's little glass shoes. Little glass shoe. Here's one of her shoes, he said. I don't know her name, but now I have one of her shoes. I will find her. This shoe will help me. And when I find her, I will marry her. The next day, you just danced with her for all night and you haven't realized who is she and who is she exactly and what's her personality. You just say, oh, she's beautiful, I love her, I like her, I want to marry her. So adorable. The next day, the prince's footman put up an important notice. It said, every girl in the country must try on the little glass shoe. The prince will marry the girl who can wear it. Then the prince and his best footman went to every house in the country. Hundreds of girls tried on the shoe, but it did not fit anyone. So Cinderella's shoe is very special size. And we can thought about a question again. So how does the fairy knows about a foot size? She's a stalker, definitely. Okay, continue. I will never find her, thought the prince sadly. At last, one day, the prince and his footman come to the Cinderella's house. The ugly sisters were very excited. First, Prudence tried on the shoe, but it didn't fit her. Her foot was too long and thin. Then Charlotte tried on the shoe, but it didn't fit her. Her foot was much too big and fat. Oh, and in the picture of the storybook, the prince were like a stranger, really a stranger, wearing a hat and didn't show his face. He's just stand beside the walls and seeing the girls trying on the shoes. Stranger. Are there any other girls in this house? Asked the prince. No, said the ugly sisters. Yes, said Cinderella's father. There's Cinderella. She's in the kitchen. Cinderella? Said the ugly sisters. She didn't go to the party. She's only the kitchen girl. Cinderella came into the room in her dirty old dress, but the prince could see that she was very beautiful. Oh, once again, another person can't recognize people from their faces, just from their clothing. Okay. She sat down and tried on a glass shoe. It fitted her perfectly. It doesn't fit her! It doesn't! Said the ugly sisters. Yes, it does, said Cinderella's father. Then Cinderella took the other glass shoe out of her pocket. She put it on her other foot. It is you, said the prince quietly. You are the beautiful princess. Okay, again, he only can recognize people from their clothing and their shoes, not from their faces. Suddenly, there was a great light, and the fairy came again. She touched Cinderella's dress with her magic wand, and there was the beautiful long dress with little pink flowers on it. The ugly sisters and their nasty mother were afraid. Oh, Cinderella, they said, we are sorry. We are sorry that we were unkind to you. But the prince was very happy. Wait. They said sorry to Cinderella and you feel happy, so... What? They are saying sorry to Cinderella, not to you. And you felt happy? Huh? He gave his hand to Cinderella. I love you, he said. Will you marry me? Yes, I will, said Cinderella. Because I love you too. Wait, you just danced together for one evening and you didn't know each other and you say, yes, I love you, I want to marry you. What happened to the fairy tales world? And because Cinderella was kind, she did not forget her ugly sisters. Can my sisters come to the palace too? She asked. Yes, they can, answered the prince. Wait, so they let you become the maid, and they for at least maybe at least half of the year, and they force you to make dress for them and help them dressed up for a whole day, and they just say one word, one sentence that say they are sorry to be unkind to you, and you forgive them. Oh, what a kind girl. A few days later, the prince and Cinderella got married, and the ugly sisters got married too. They married two of the prince's friends. Oh, how poor them. When the people saw Cinderella, they saw that she was very beautiful, and soon they loved her because she was also good and kind. After some time, Cinderella and the prince had a little son and a little daughter, and they all lived happily ever after. Alright, the stories end, but I think Cinderella is too silly to be kind. Even and there's another question. I noticed I noticed the problem because the uh because this time the prince just bring that glass shoe to the to Cinderella's house and said ask is there any other girl, and his and Cinderella's father said oh yeah there's Cinderella. I thought I think quite it's quite okay for me because maybe the dad and that did Cinderella's father thought there is a chance for Cinderella queen become the queen of the country and she can get a better life. Yeah, at least I think here is okay. But the next is the younger sister said it doesn't fit her. It doesn't. And but the Cinderella's father said yes, it does. So maybe the fairy is not the fairy is being paid by Cinderella's father. So and the father maybe spend his money to bought a little glass shoes, the a pair of the little glass shoes just fit Cinderella's size, and asked the fairy to help her to go to the party and have a chance to that the prince fell in love with her and become the queen of the kingdom. So maybe Cinderella's father is the winner of the game. Right? Because and the second time the fairy appeared again and she changed the clothes again. It didn't say she didn't say when will the magic disappear. When? And so why the first time the magic will disappear at 12? I think maybe this is another insurance for or is another plan because they say that you will remember something that you didn't get for a long time. So they won't let Prince to know Cinderella fully in that time. So maybe you will have some space for the prince to imagine that maybe she maybe is a very kind and beautiful girl. She will be nice to my children if we have something like that. And or maybe they think the prince will get disappointed after they have too much time to realize each other. So maybe the magic will disappear is a Okay, is also a part of plan of Fairy and Cinderella's father. Hmm. So I really think the winner of the game is Cinderella's father. So the conclusion of today's story is Cinderella's father is the winner of the game. Okay, that's all for today's storytelling. So wait for the next. Maybe will be the next storytelling will be 3 days later. Bye, guys.